अखंडमंडलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनं शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनं उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ओम ह्रीं नमः शिवाय। पूरे फेमिलियर फेसेस ज़्यादा। आप लोग सब शिवरात्रि के लिए आए हैं मगर दिन में बैठे हुए हैं। We've all come for Shivaratri, but it is Shiva Din now, it's our day time. तो रात को भी बैठेंगे थोड़ी देर। रात को आपको अच्छा संगीत भी सुनाई देगा। गुंदेचा बंधु भी आए हुए हैं। हाँ, तो so this is Shiva. I'm going to speak in English. I know when I'm speaking in Hindi, many people are looking quite worried. मैं अंग्रेजी में बोलता हूँ। हाँ, is it ठीक है? So नहीं हिंदी में बोलेंगे तो ये लोगों का क्या होगा जो बाहर से आए हैं। मिक्स एंग्लो इंडियन। चलिए, so it's wonderful that we are all here today on Shivadin, going towards Shivaratri, and although Krishna is sitting here, it is Shiva's city, so I'm going to talk about you. Oh, we have Ukraine also here. So, first let me tell you this. Should we start with the concept of Shiva or should we start with Ujjain? You are here, Ujjain. Yeah. So, Ujjain is one of the 12 Jyotirlingas. One of the 12 Jyotirlingas, and all Jyotirlingas are ancient, very ancient. Even if you go back into history, you can see it, but it's even before anything was historically recorded, the Jyotirlingas exist. The original temple of Ujjain for the Shivling was built by Chandrasena. Goes back so much into history. And the last ruler who did some work here, apart from what the government has done now, was Jivaji Rao Scindia. It was with the Gwalior kingdom for some time. After, I think, Bajirao Peshwa's time. So, let's look into the concept first of what. And Ujjain is very important to me because it is also one of the centers of the Nath Sampradaya and its growth. One of the two most famous Nath Sampradaya teachers, yogis, lived here and meditated here and actually came from here. One was you see the caves there? What are they? Atal Bihari, what? भारतहरि, ये अटल जी को बीच में कहाँ देखे। Oh, Bhartrahari. Bhartrahari was one of the kings of Ujjain, and is a beautiful story about him. A great rishi who meditated here gave him a fruit from the tree of immortality, which was given to him from somewhere outside this world. I hope you believe there are other worlds, not just this. So the fruit was given to him out of great respect and affection, knowing that he would one day become a yogi. He was still a king. This guy gifted it to his wife, who was the queen, showing how much he loved her. And the wife loved the general of the army, so she gifted it to him. And the general loved one of the girls who were in the palace, one of the courtiers, gave it to her. And this girl, who was the cleaning maiden in the palace, was actually in love with the king. So she gifted it to the king. Because she said, this is an immortal fruit which has been given to me, which confers immortality. It's given to me by somebody. She didn't say who. Please take this, O king, I love you. The king took the fruit. It was the same fruit with great affection he had given to the queen. So there's a beautiful poem where he says, thick, and throws it down and says, this is human love. Throws the fruit away and goes away from the palace and becomes a wandering hermit, a wandering yogi, seeing how temporary the relationship. Please, we are not saying about husbands and wives here. I'm not breaking families. Say, nice day, Shivaratri, auspicious. So anyway, and then he met a great Shaivite saint from the south called Pattanittar. This saint took him to, as a Shaivite, one of the Shaivite Nathas, he took him to Andhra Pradesh, to a shrine called Kalahasti, where the linga that is worshipped is a Vayu linga, linga of Vayu, which has no form. What form can you give to Vayu? So there is a linga kept in name for worship, and there is a Utsava Murti to take out during the festivals, but nothing is there actually. It's like Chidambaram. How can you put up an image of Chid clad in consciousness? You cannot. So, Vayu linga. So there he became his disciple and a Nath, and then he came back to his native Ujjain. He did not live in the palace. He made caves for himself and lived in the caves. You can still see the caves here. Bhartrahari caves are well known. Must be very careful when you go there, especially if you are tall. You need to go like this inside. Another great Nath Sampradaya teacher, yogi. I'm saying all this proudly because my Sampradaya is the Nath Sampradaya. So Madhukar Nath is also part of the Sampradaya. So Gopichand. Gopichand also was a great Nath yogi. He also lived here. His samadhi is here in Ujjain. These are the sub-factors. The real factor is, it is part of the Jyotirlingas, which are 12 in number, starting from Somnath in Gujarat down, actually starting from Rameshwar in the south. What is a Jyotirlinga? Now, first I will explain the Puranic story, then I will explain what it could mean. The Puranic story is that, no, don't say it's a story and dismiss it, okay? There are many meanings to a Puranic story. The Puranic story is that, even the gods sometimes bicker among each other. So it is said, so don't be worried if people bicker here. Ordinary human beings sometimes argue. So the Purana says that Brahma and Vishnu had an argument on who is superior. Usual thing, right? Also among human beings, because we partake a lot from the gods, I think that's why. So, the argument went on and on. And Shiva was sitting in Kailash, where he sits, with the ashes on his body, eyes closed, like that, with in his hand. And he heard the bickering going on in the argument down some stairs. So first he thought it must be the Devas, then he thought it must be the humans, stupid humans. Then he thought it must be the Devas. Then he thought it must be his Ganas. Nothing. Then he looked around, who is arguing? So he found out that it was Vishnu and Brahma arguing. Who is superior? So the Purana, Shiva Purana says, Markandeya Purana, Shiva Purana, they all say that Shiva converted himself, not converted, resolved himself to his original form, which is the Jyotirling, which is the Jyoti. So he became a Jyoti, not you. And stretched, it was a long Jyoti, long light, like the lightning, which actually also links all of us together in a way. Through our Hridaya and through our Sahasrara, this streak of Jyoti links everybody together. Anyway, he resolved himself back into the Jyoti form, full Jyoti. Now, it stretched high up and it stretched down below the earth. So Vishnu and Brahma decided to find where it started from and where it ended. Does it have an end or a start? We don't know. So the story says, the Purana says, that Brahma went digging into the earth, but he could not find where the end was. Vishnu went looking for the big upward side, where it went up. We could not find either the beginning or the end. You see, if you hold a pencil or some stick in your hand, you cannot decide which is the beginning and which is the end, but you know which is the middle, right? Right. So, Brahma came back and said, I think I have found where it ends or where it starts from, which was a lie, because he could not find. Vishnu, on the other hand, said, I don't know. I can't figure out. This is too much for me. Infinite, I cannot find out. He said the truth. Brahma said the lie just to satisfy. So the story is that Shiva said, from now on, you will not be worshipped anywhere except in one place. In Pushkar there is a Brahma temple, no other. And to Vishnu he said, Since you told the truth, which is I don't know, which is the truth. Nobody will say this, I'm telling you. You will be worshipped everywhere. So the Upanishad says, he who knows, knows not, and he who knows not, knows. One of the most difficult things to come by is to say, I don't know. And if you say, I know, you cannot know the reality. You have to start with, I don't know. Because when you say you know, you are trying to rudely insult the Supreme Being, because the Supreme Being cannot be known. When you are not there, there is the Supreme Being, that's all. When I am too much there, I know, then the Mandukya Upanishad uses a beautiful sentence to declare how people who learn a lot and have a lot of knowledge and think that they know, what happens to them? Andhaine vaniyamana yat andaha, like the blind leading the blind. It's not from Shakespeare, it's 2000 years old. The blind leading the blind. So anyway, that story is different. So when Shiva became this, when I say Shiva, talking about the essence of being, the Paramatman, the Parabrahman, known as Shivam. If you look into the Sanskrit dictionary, the meaning of the word Shivam is Anandam, Prasadam. Prasadam is not what you mix and give. Prasadam means peace and happiness. So why did I say that? Yeah. So this Jyotirling, this Jyoti, when its work was over, it decided to stay for our advantage on this earth in some form. These are the 12 Jyotirlingas. And they are called Swayambhu, because people think Swayambhu means it has come on its own. Let me explain this a bit. How do we normally create a vigraha in a kshetra, in a temple? What is the process? The vigraha is made, then it is brought there and it is installed, right? And then the priests do the prana pratishta. First they do the avahana, then they do the avahan means to make the God come to your heart, deity. And then they do prana pratishta and then it becomes your God. You worship it. Now, if there is a Swayambhu Linga, it means nobody did any prana pratishta to it. By itself it is effulgent. It is self-made, self-effulgent. Swayambhu did not mean the shape, it means the energy from inside is always there. You don't need to do anything about it. No human hand did anything to it. So who brought these things here? Non-human agencies. They are not human agencies. They were brought, normally the Puranas will say the gods brought it. When you say gods, it means beings who are not humans, who are beyond, who live in different realms, who have established these as the battery and the storage centers for Shiva's effulgence of the Jyoti. These are the Jyotirlingas. There are 12 in number. If there is a Jyotirlinga, even if there is no paraphernalia around, if you go and sit there with a quiet mind, saying, this is mysterious, I don't know, you don't even have to imagine anything. You will feel the essence of the linga in you. This is a Jyotirlinga, original Jyotirlinga. So Ujjain is one such place. And it has added importance that there are the samadhis and the meditation places of all the Naths, important Nath Sampradaya people. So then you must have gone to the Aratis. No, Bhasmarti. Ujjain is one Jyotirlinga which is called Mahakaleshwar. Kala is what? Time. There is no time when there is no change. Time appears only when there is change. And time is indefinable, infinite. Nobody can conquer time. If you are young, you will go old, then you will die. You can say, I am God, but still you will die. If you don't dye your hair, it will still be white. So, there is no change. Change is always happening. Time is taking its toll. When we used to have the meager food that we got when we were wandering, Babaji always used to tell me, every time you eat a morsel of food, understand that time is eating you. Time is the great eater. It absorbs everything. So this particular Jyotirlinga in Ujjain is a symbol of that, of Mahakaleshwar, the Lord of Time. If you know the Lord of Time, according to the yogi, the Lord of Time sits in the Hridaya and in the Sahasrara. If you are aspiring towards that, today is a busy day, Shivaratri and all that, 15 lakhs people are going to be around. But when there is none of these people, when it is quiet, you should go and sit sometimes and meditate there and see what happens to you. Not now though it is, also, yes. So what is all this racket that they do when they do the arati? First, because it is Mahakal, in the ancient times, they used to bring ashes from the cremation ground, from dead bodies, and then put it on it. Now they have stopped that. They make their own ashes for it. The other reason, then there is the Damaru. You know the Damaru? It's peculiar to Shiva. Dug, 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 dug. What is this Damaru? For the one, when you ring the bell and you do the Damaru and do the Nagara, you are sending a message to those beings who are responsible for the Linga being there, saying, we remember, keep an eye on us, we are treating what you gave us with great respect. Therefore, if you have eyes to see, which you don't have, then when the Damaru is going on, when the drums are beating, when the bells are ringing, you will see some beings around who are watching and listening and happy that these fellows are looking after the Linga. It's a signal. It's like ringing your doorbell. Plus, the yogi knows that the first thing that happens when the mind becomes calm and one sits quietly enjoying, contemplating on the inner Shivam. You can call it Narayana, it doesn't matter. Into Shivam. The first thing you begin to hear in the Anahat is dum, 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 the Damaru. It's your blood pumping, your heart beating. This is the first sounds that normally you don't hear because you're so engrossed in the gross sounds that come outside. Deep inside it is dum, 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 it's the Damaru. Which means it's a signal that the yogi is moving towards the light, the Jyoti. And for the yogi, the Jyotirlinga, after the sound of the Anahat in the Hridaya, is in the Sahasrara. What we are trying to attempt in Kriya is also taking our awareness to the level of the heart first and then to the Sahasrara. Now in Sahasrara sits, now this is interesting. There are Jyotirlingas in 12 places on earth, which are a link between that realm and this realm. Seriously. Do I sound like the author of the Chariot of the Gods or something? Poor guy, he really tried to do something. Maybe not all the facts were there, but the link between that and this comes through the Jyotirlingas. But the good news is, the link between that and this is also carried by every human being inside himself or herself. The Jyotirlingas are the goalposts. This is where you aim, there you sit down, and you nowadays with this rush, where will you meditate? Even then, in spite of all the noise, everything stops when the bell rings and the light is shown and the damaru and the nagaras go. Nobody, only Har Har Mahadev. And what is Har Har Mahadev? Har means, Hara means to finish, to destroy, to remove. And then when everything is removed, who stays? Mahadev. Now this is in each one of us. So when you do the sadhana, when you try to find Shiva in yourself, this is the aim of sadhana. You are linking yourself first to all the 12 Jyotirlingas and from there to the absolute energy from which they have come to us. And then you find that you are yourself. Each one of us, the body is called the Kshetra, the field. You know the meaning of the word Kshetra? It's not just a temple, it means field. Which Kshetra are you working in? Means what? Are you working in a temple? In a field. Kshetra, the temple is called Kshetra because it is a field where religion is practiced. Now, every human being is a Kshetra. What kind of Kshetra? Dharma Kshetra. Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetra. And therefore it automatically becomes a Kurukshetra. Battle is going on all the time. So when Sanjay, when the king is asking Sanjay, the blind king, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samveda Yuyutsava, Mamagam Pandavasche Kim Kurvate Sanjaya, what are they doing, oh Sanjaya? And Sanjaya is sitting with a TV screen in the king's palace and reporting all that is happening there. May not be a BPL or a nowadays LG TV screen or Samsung, some other TV screen. So the yogis can see the TV. Yesterday we went for the Mangalarati in the morning here and I was watching my TV. You won't believe this. You will think that I am either a nut or I am bluffing. There were so many beings like this, listening to the Arati, watching the Arati, and that huge Swayambhu Linga out there. You will notice something very interesting. Buckets and buckets of water are poured on it. You look after 1 minute, there is nothing there, it's all dry. Too much heat generated inside. Which is why it's called self-generator. Swayambhu means not self-made but self-generated. It's a generation of now. Is that important to us? Since the linga is in each one of us, there is a generation going on here also. It's activated from the Muladhara. The fire is lit in the Manipura. And the generation takes you on with all the damaru and the music and the lights. The lights are here and the linga is here. So when Adi Shankara touched that linga, realized what it was, he sang the Nirvana Shataka, of which it ends always with Siddhananda Rupaha Shivoham, Shivoham. I am of the nature of consciousness and bliss. I am Shivam, I am Shivam. So, since you are here, nice to have a tamasha and all that, okay, fine. I have a warning, please don't go out and eat from those little shops here. It's possible that you might get food poisoning. Be careful. If temples give you prasad, yes, you can take it, it will be clean. And try to stick together, don't get lost. And whenever you get time, now it's too much rush, I don't know how to do this, but please do go at least once to the temple and see the arati, maybe in the evening. Evening will be worst. Now if you can't do any of this, sit quietly and do arati to the Shiva inside you. When the ajna is the doorway, when you look there, the light appears. And in this light you see the Shivam which is here in the Sahasrara. So therefore you'll be filled with some kind of bliss, because Shivam also means Anandam. Right? So I was trying to link what is physically there with what is inside us. And since there is the divine sitting in each one of us, every human being is a temple, it's a kshetra. You can't dismiss somebody, oh, what do they do, eat and sleep? No. Every human being, whatever his outward actions or outward behavior, deep down treasures the Shivam, the Supreme Being. So treat all human beings as temples, sacred. Nobody is bad. Nobody is bad. This is the first step to learn towards moving forward in your sadhana. 6 hours you can sit and do sadhana. If you don't learn this, you are lost. Right? So this is what I wanted to tell you today. Now, having said this, is there a connection between, is there a practical thing by which we can connect to this inner reality? Yes. The Agamas and the Shastras have given us this beautiful mantra called the Shiva Panchakshara. The Shiva Panchakshara is called Shiva Panchakshara because it has 5 letters added with pranava in the beginning, which is Om. So the chanting of the Panchakshara, Namah Shivaya, in Tamil, Namah Shivaya, she is bringing the presence of the divinity or manifesting the divinity of Shivam in us into our minds. This is the Om Namah Shivaya. You can just sit, fix your attention in the Ajna and chant Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Now, if you also want to make the Devi happy, because she is always with him going around, add the Bijakshara Hrim to it. So, Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. Just as you do the Guru Mantra, Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. So, how do you do it? Fix your attention either in the Hridaya, if you like, or in the Sahasrara. Not here, Sahasrara. Fix your attention there and chant Om Namah Shivaya, Om Hrim Namah Shivaya many times. If you want a symbol to fix your attention there, you can either think of a linga or you can think of the beautiful silver crescent that sits on Shiva's head. Soma, which is why he's called Soma Shekhara. Is it this side or this side? I forgot. Right or left? Right. So you can either have the crescent or a linga. Fix your attention there. Since you're here and since you're in Ujjain, spend some quiet time doing this instead of gossiping. Okay? Fix your attention and chant Om Hrim Namah Shivaya, Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. Continue chanting Om Hrim. Don't chant Shivoham, you have not yet understood. So, Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. This is a beautiful mantra which, in fact, if you want to explore into this Panchakshara, I have a suggestion. When you go back, we can't do it here, it's too much. You go back, there is a beautiful Tamil text called the Tirumantiram by Tirumular. Luckily, today it has been translated into English by the Ramakrishna Mission. It's called the Tirumantiram. Tiru in Tamil means Shri. So, Shri Mantra has become Tirumantiram. Mantiram is mantram, mantra. It's a beautiful text to read, very simple. It goes from the chanting of the Shiva Panchakshara, what it means, what is Shivam, the whole principle. I haven't read fully, okay. I'm saying from my Tirumantiram. And then it also talks about how samadhis are to be made when yogis attain samadhi and all those details, everything is there. It's also a highly devotional book because every now and then the author breaks out into a cry, "Oh Shiva, don't leave me here." It's interesting that this Tirumular, in Tamil the word Tirumular means the great shepherd. Shepherd. So, it is said that he was a disciple of one of the Saptarishis, Agastya. So Agastya sent him to the south, go. Because Agastya also went, Agastya came first to the south, his samadhi is in the south. Agastya Kotam. Then this guy came in search of his guru, Agastya. And he reached a Tamil Nadu place somewhere in the south. And there he saw a very interesting scene. He found some sheep moaning and crying around a tree. Sad. So he felt very bad. So he went to them and he figured out that they were moaning around a shepherd who died. They loved the shepherd very much. The shepherd loved them very much. And they were crying because the shepherd died. Out of compassion. See, when you are a great yogi, compassion comes by itself. So out of great compassion, he decided to take over the body of the shepherd, to make the sheep happy. So there was a tree with hollow, what is that thing called? Hollow, trunk, hollow trunk, yes. So he went into the trunk, he left his body, he came out of his body in his subtle body. Such things exist, okay? Subtle body. And he entered the body of the shepherd who had died. And then he got up and started talking to the sheep and they were very happy. Then he had to take the sheep back home. With his yogic powers, he also managed to master the language, because he had to talk to the sheep. He took them home. Everything was okay, except that his wife thought this fellow is sounding very peculiar. My husband, he just came back. Now instead of talking, he's singing songs, like in Tamil. Where did he learn to sing songs in one evening? Beautiful, literal Tamil songs in the Sangam literature time. She got curious. She started wondering what has happened to this fellow, and he is not sleeping with her. He is sitting like this. What happened to this guy? Either he's gone mad or somebody has possessed him. She was so unhappy that this guy decided better not to stay here. What if she catches me and does all kinds of strange things, which he didn't want to do? So he decided to go back and occupy the body of discard his body and get into his original body. What happened was, some other shepherds came and they found a dead body lying there, so they burnt it. So when he came and looked for it, it was not there, it was gone. So he got stuck in that shepherd's body. Now, since he was talking in philosophical terms and singing songs and poems, so they gave him respect and called him Tirumular, which means the divine shepherd. So the text he wrote, it mostly refers to the Shiva Panchakshara. It's called the Tirumantiram. I wish you could go back and read about the Tirumantiram. Also, please remember the fact that the great yogi Bhartarahari was initiated in Kalahasti in the south. South Indians are not bad people, they are good people. And try to understand the Tirumantiram. You will get much more than what I told you in 1 hour. Yeah. So, my parting advice now, satsang will be over at 12. Evening we'll meet again, of course. I enjoy meeting you, don't mistake me. I enjoy meeting you, I enjoy carrying your woes on my head. ठीक है, चलता है, that's my job. I'm Babaji's bonded laborer. So, please remember to chant Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. Think that you have learnt a new mantra. Even if you are chanting Om Namah Shivaya, add a little Hrim to it. And let the Swayambhu work from within. Hrim is the machine, generating machine. So, whenever you get some quiet time, sit down quietly and chant Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. You need not chant it loudly also, you can chant it in your mind. Ludwig, you can also chant. Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. So, thanks. No questions. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I know many of you are thinking, can this always happen, that this guy will sit here? I know. Can I go and sit in his house on his lap and होता नहीं है, क्या करें? Imagine what will happen if all people sit on one. No good orthopedist in Madanapalli anyway. So here we are. Forgive me for not spending more. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Huh? Oh, I have to do something? What?
As mentioned before,
My Arogyam is not in such person.
Sir will be launching the Arogyam website.
How do I launch?
So if you press here, it will launch there.
See, this is what? This is the Atman and that is the Paraman. You press here and it will launch there. So. Have to say anything? No. I will say just Om Namah Shivaya. Huh? Yes, that's Om Namah Shivaya. But it's not moving.
It's a static website. People can go to arogyam.life, rogyam.life, and
Don't
get all the
mistake the
details.
big capital M at the end. I have nothing to do.